Hi, I'm Amy, and this is the Ectron model 1140A. It's the highest accuracy thermocouple simulator-calibrator on the market, with accuracy down to 0.06 degrees Celsius. It can function as a source or a meter, and in either temperature or voltage mode. In temperature mode, it supports 12 different thermocouple types across the temperature range for each type. In voltage mode, it can source or measure from -11 volts to +11 volts. Connections can be made using either copper or thermocouple alloy material wiring. The Model 1140A comes with a built-in USB interface. It can also have up to 2 optional remote interfaces installed at any one time. The optional interfaces available are GPIB, Ethernet, and RS-232. Other available options for the unit include a rechargeable battery, carrying case, rack mounting, and a calibration kit, which includes calibrated type E and T thermocouple wires. Those are used for calibrating and aligning the Model 1140A itself as needed. Operating the Model 1140A involves the front panel controls seen here. These include the menu button, enter, escape, the numeric keypad, and the arrow keys. There's also an encoder. When rotated, it has the same effect as pressing an up or a down arrow key. And when you push in the encoder within a menu, that has the same effect as pushing the enter button. Connections are made at the terminals, either at the binding posts or the mini thermocouple connector. When the unit ships from Ectron and is first turned on, it comes up with a default configuration shown here. As you can see, it indicates it's in source mode, simulating 0 degrees Celsius on a type K thermocouple. And the terminals are set to the binding posts. That's the B/P for binding post. There's no offset, and connections are set up to be made with alloy material, not copper. The unit also comes up in standby by default. Standby indicates that the internal voltage source is not connected to the terminals, so there is no output. That can be toggled on or off using the enter key when at this screen. The additional meaning of the enter key is indicated above it with operate/standby when we press that. Now the voltage is present at the output. To change any of the settings, you press menu to enter the main menu, and then these all provide for a variety of options which are detailed in the instruction manual. The top 3 menus, thermocouple, instrument mode, and output, are the most frequently needed menus. When we're finished, we can press escape and get back to the main screen. Suppose I want to connect the 1140A to a thermocouple and have it measure. For example, the other end of the thermocouple might be in a temperature chamber, or it might be connected to another simulator that you want to calibrate by taking the readings on the Model 1140A. To set up the unit, I'll go into the menu system, and then in the thermocouple menu, I'm going to select type K for this example. And then instrument mode, now I'm going to switch from source to meter. I'm still going to measure as temperature, and I'll measure in Celsius. Output, I'm going to measure with alloy material, but I am going to connect at the thermocouple connector rather than the binding posts. At this point, it's set up correctly, but there's no reading because the terminals are open. When I connect the thermocouple wire, then we get a reading. When the Model 1140A is in meter mode, there is a function called auto zero that can be commanded at any time using the 0 key as a shortcut. When we press 0, it asks if we want to set our auto zero temperature 0 as that latest reading, and if I select yes, Now subsequent measurements are shown as the deviation from that initial value. The amount of that auto zero offset is shown at the top of the screen here as AZ offset. To get rid of that offset, we can go into the menu and then select the output menu, and we scroll down to auto zero enabled and switch that to no. And now we're back to standard readings. Suppose you want to use the Model 1140A to measure a voltage. In this case, I'll go into the menu. I do not need to adjust the thermocouple settings. In instrument mode, I need it to be in meter rather than source mode. I'm going to measure as voltage, and I could choose between volts or millivolts as my units. I will leave that as is. Output. An important setting to select here is alloy versus copper material. I'm going to be using copper material. If that is left at alloy, the readings will be incorrect. At this point, there's no valid measurement because the terminals are open. When I connect a voltage source, the unit then begins taking readings. If you want, you can switch instrument mode units to millivolts. In this case, it doesn't provide us any extra detail. That's just a matter of preference. When measuring lower voltages, near zero, you will get potentially an extra digit of resolution by switching to millivolts. If you want less resolution, that can be adjusted in the instrument mode menu with the resolution limits for temperature and voltage to show fewer digits if desired. As an example, suppose I want to connect the Model 1140A as a simulator to some other thermocouple meter. First, I'll go ahead and connect the thermocouple wire. I'm going to use a Type E thermocouple in this example. Now to configure the unit, I'll go into the menu, and then I need to select the thermocouple that is needed. The default is Type K, and I'll switch that to a Type E. The other settings are fine as is. I'll hit Escape to go back to the main menu. Check instrument mode here. We are source temperature Celsius. I'm going to leave all those as is. And output, we are using alloy material at the binding posts, so those are correct as shown. At this point, the unit is set up correctly, but there is no output because it's in standby. Once I press that Enter key to toggle out of standby, now the voltage is being output to the terminals, and then there would be a reading at the other end of the wire, at the device. To set the temperature, you just type in whatever temperature you want and press Enter. There are also shortcuts from the front panel to switch between Celsius and Fahrenheit. If we type in 300 and then press the Fahrenheit shortcut key, now we're in Fahrenheit. Or we can go to 850 and then switch to Celsius. For more information on the Model 1140A, visit our website at ectron.com.